so embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win, like lots of stems popping it like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto, choose what I get to. Never lose move on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running and maybe we just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision that pay me is never the
Welcome in everybody to a very special Masters Week here on Divots and Pivots. My name is Andrew LeDuc, aka Mr. Mallet, as always, and Divots and Pivots to you as always as well. Brought to you by Acorn Hills. Get on over to acornhillscode.com. Use TBFY15. Get your 15% discount from Nate and the boys and the gals over there. If you notice, yes, there are more faces on the screen other than just me and Bud this week. What are you drawing? There's four of us. Yes, good counting, bud. We are joined by a friend of the show. You've seen his face before, Keith Flemming, and then his co-host from over at Fantasy Six Pack, Ryan. Am I saying Mulvey right? Is it just?
Yeah, you nailed it. A lot of people
fantastic.
try to make it French, and it's Irish. So,
well, that's what I was scared of. I was like,
yeah.
It looks too simple for me.
It
In
is.
your defense, he looks like a snooty Frenchman, so totally understand.
Hey,
he's thinking
their
that.
podcast has a nice intro music. Yours is just all right. Let's go.
Hey, if you want to make some intro music, Ryan, go right ahead. I'll be happy to add it to the show.
You don't know how hard it is to make an intro music though, because this is like our seventh intro music, but in 4 seasons because of copyright issues.
Now on the radio we've had to go into all non-licensed stuff because we kept getting muted so much.
See, and I'm a cheap guy that I don't want to pay for music rights, so whatever it is what it is. But we haven't heard from you yet. Are you? It's Masters.
The chief of morale. I just found that out. I didn't know.
Yes.
That.
It's a austere distinction, not one that's often doled out. I don't take it lightly. I mean, morale's high. It's Masters Week. Keith, good to see you.
Good to see
thank
you
all
buddy.
for joining us. This was a pleasant surprise, and by surprise, I completely forgot that it was Tuesday. World War III is going on upstairs, but the show must go on. It is once again Masters Week. Everybody's flaunting their gear. Everybody's got what they. So what do we got? I got my hat. Keith,
I don't have any gear.
Yeah, seriously. Are you? Are those matching?
Only fucking one.
I don't think matching because his
mine's
is
got
solid.
the stripe, right?
Mine's got a very. It's got
you've got a bunch
little,
of stripes on.
Yeah, a couple pencil stripes. Just
Okay,
those on
just the one stripe.
For those on the pod, they're
Another
flexing some red Augusta National Masters.
Tiger, man, he'll always be my guy. I don't care if he's playing or not.
The difference is, did y'all get those? Did y'all get those on site yourselves?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. See, a buddy of mine dropped this off because I missed the Masters in 06 to go see a girl in California. It didn't work out, but it's still a good story. Here we are. A tradition unlike any other. We're kicking off Jim Nance's 11-year retirement tour. What better way to do that?
Would you want to give up that gig? Jesus, he gets to do everything.
Hell no. And imagine
probably a little upset though with Houston losing last night. So who knows how perky he'll be to start the tournament on Thursday.
Maybe they fly in Tony Romo, the chief of morale, with Jim Nance. So
we're already on We're already on football. All right, real quick, let's kick it off with a hot topic question.
All right,
where and I'm gonna throw it out there, and then I'm just gonna let whoever wants to pick it up. The Masters, first on the calendar. Where is it in your heart? Where does it rank amongst the majors? And then, what are your top to bottom rankings for the big shows in the golf world? Who wants it first?
It's without a doubt the number one golf tournament in the world. It's the number one golf course in the world. It's one of those few things that actually lives up to the hype. There's so many things in life where you hear how great it is, and then you go see it or experience it. It's like, man, that was kind of a letdown. Augusta National is not one of those things. There's not a pine straw at a place. It's just the most beautiful place on earth. The rest of the majors, I love the Open, so I would have it second. I like watching the guys squirm. So, well, not the last couple of years, but the U.S. Open traditionally was that would be third. And then the PGA is honestly the kind of blah of the majors, if you're asking me.
I was. Ryan, what about you?
So obviously, Masters is number one for me. I worked in that market for 8 years. I proposed to my wife on Amen Corner, so Masters will always be number one for me. I always have to drop that in on
I
Masters
would too.
That's a great flex. And for the rest of your life, honey, it's not golf.
We got to go back to the spot.
It's about us.
Yeah, it's
like rewatching your wedding video.
Exactly, exactly. But yeah, Masters for me #1. I'd actually put the PGA at #2 just because I like a lot of the PGA venues.
You were a full PGA member too. Be sure to say that.
Yeah, that's true too. I guess there's some merit to that. But then I'll throw the U.S. Open after that, and then the Open Championship for me, just from a viewership standpoint, is always a little tougher because it's on so early in the morning. But so that's my rankings in that one, with the Masters certainly being #1.
See, I actually use that for the Open as why it's my #2. Like, so Masters is #1 for me, but the fact that the Open starts so early, I love being able to wake up a little extra early, watch it, a couple hours from bed, and then watch it as I get ready for my day. And I'm fine with it being done by like 2:00 in the afternoon. That works for me. So yeah, for me, it's Masters, the Open, the U.S. Open, and then the PGA.
I got the Masters is a runner-up for me, and I understand why it. I understand why it's #1.
That's why you asked the question.
Yeah.
Of course, come on, hot takes. Smart. Let's be honest here, gentlemen.
He did say hot take corner. I didn't even realize that.
No, I think it's #2 in my heart, but I understand why it's #1 everywhere else, because it's the only consistency. It's only a consistency that we get in the sport every year. It's the same thing over and over and over again. The whole accessibility with the prices with the concessions. Joe Shit the Rag Man could potentially go there with a family of 4 and feed them with 100. I get all of that, and then the tradition. We love that, but as a golf guy, the U.S. Open is my #1, and I think because currently it is the top tier championship golf test. The Open and PGA kind of fight for third. I think the PGA, when it's on its game and it really wants to kind of show off and show out, not what it did last year at Valhalla. It was a hell of a time. It was fun. It's a pretty place, but come on, we're a couple dozen under for a major title. I don't like that. But when they want to show their teeth and trick out a course like they might do later this year at Quail Hollow, who knows? It can come back up and give us a test. But the Open edges it out for 3 because of all the pomp and circumstance and history. And then when the weather shows up for the Open, that's when you get a lot of fun. And so there's my top to bottom. U.S. Open still on top. America.
What's the happy medium in your opinion, Bud, for the U.S. Open? Because we've seen it, like I'll never forget Payne Stewart in '98 having a fucking meltdown over the greens being so burnt that, literally it was like hitting concrete. And then in the last few years, the scoring's kind of been, more like a tough venue at like the PGA or something, or even Augusta here recently. What's kind of your sweet spot for the U.S. Open? Do you like it being more on the tough side, or just on the, like, what's the saying? Tough but fair, right? Where guys, if they're playing great golf, they can go low, but you got to be playing really good to do that.
In a perfect world, par is the kind of the championship score, I think. But I would rather the USGA be apologizing for letting it go a little bit on Friday or Saturday, and reining it back in, late Saturday over to give us a fair Sunday. And it's a dangerous act, but I think that generates more buzz. We get more stories out of it, get more miles out of it, really than when it's 22 under, like Bryson talking about after the US Open. And he referenced back kind of jokingly how he shot 20 or 21 under at a PGA and didn't win. That kind of just saying that out loud. I think really the PGA kind of, Scotty didn't do him any favors last year. I was there for that. It was kind of fun, but they really did. They really got to do something this year to regain that seriousness, because they had it for a few years. We had Brooksy going back to back. We had Tiger kind of battling them there. We were getting a show, and last year we got a pitch and putt. Glorified pitch and putt. Granted, the talent was there, rose to the top, but I would rather them apologize than us, being able to bash it.
Now, I'm going to quickly switch topics here, because I just saw this come across my ESPN notifications, and I find it interesting. Because this shoots down one of the dreams that we talked about the other night with the golfer gang about possibly seeing a Jason Day sweatsuit, green jacket, the combination if he were to win the Masters this year. Apparently, it just came out that Jason Day was asked by Augusta National to tone down his outfit.
Of course, that shit would not fly. There's a lot of
didn't last year they make him change? He was wearing that Malbon golf stuff, and they made him change
so they made him change like halfway through. Yeah, so this year they're catching it right away.
Verity compared the greens to a bikini wax, and he hasn't been able to go back and cover it since. So yeah, they're not going to let you wear whatever you want. That's for sure.
Yeah, they got some stipulations for everyone. It's not just limited to the patrons. Don't call them the crowd.
I'm with it though. I don't care. But I'm not.
I think it's great. I think this is part of the reason why people love the Masters, because you either love it or you hate it. You're either like, let your freak flag fly, boo. This is why live is better. And you've got the Green Jackets going. Like this is the aspect of our golf society where you love them or hate them. The people who have fuck you money, when they flex that, you kind of go, there's a reason Billions was so successful for so many years. And when Augusta National cracks the whip, that's kind of what you got here. I think it's almost like a public school kid in his first week at the private school trying to find the loopholes around the dress code.
Yep.
And then the dean happens to be like the best friend of the basketball coach who's like dating the English teacher, and like sits him down and like dangles that scholarship to Brown right in front of him. And you're like, oh, fuck. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. Because I think even if Jason Day goes on to win, I think if he tries to roll up wearing all of his shit, I think they're going to flex again and say, no, sir, you're not a member. Remember, read the fine print there. You get to come every year. So
I don't think that's going to be a problem, gentlemen.
Yeah,
I don't think we have to worry about it.
I was just going to say, do we really think Jason Day has a chance? Because I do not this week. But we'll get to some
interesting long shot.
We'll get to some like picks and predictions later on. We'll get to the stats, because I know Keith can't go a show without throwing out, at least 100 stats. So,
I'm a nerd, man. What do you want me to do?
No, because I'm here with you, because Bud doesn't usually dive into the stats like I do. He dives into the stories. So like I'm going to be able to talk some stats with you tonight, so I'm excited about that. Some of the other news coming out of the Masters so far this week is, so obviously with Max Homa last week, we learned that he was changing caddies.
Is he still practicing right now?
So, I
just hit his 267th shot of the session.
Yes, which I love that the Masters on the range, has a tracker for that. It's fantastic.
You can watch it now too on the app.
All
which
speed,
is so
right.
cool. It's the best.
Right in my
best app in the world.
That's another reason why the Masters app is kind of the pinnacle of golf broadcast.
Shit, I would say
content,
just apps in general. I get more joy out of that than any app I've ever opened.
I do too. But so with Max Homa, he split with his caddy last week. But it came out actually just, I don't know, like 4 hours ago or so, that it was not his choice. It was his caddy's choice. And his caddy now is apparently going to be on the bag for Justin Thomas this week. So I'm trying to think, is this a bad look for Max? Like that this is not his choice, or is this a good sign for him going forward? Because let's be honest, Max has been in a tough spot now for a little while. He's not looked right. And yet I do laugh, because on the Masters promo, when you like pull it up on the ESPN Plus and they're showing the little commercial promo for it, they still have him smiling on one of the scenes. And every time I see him smiling, I'm like, what are you smiling for? You kind of suck right now. So is this in his
defense? God knows when that photo was taken. It's not like it was taken yesterday.
I know that. I'm not an unrealistic person here, but is this switching caddy a good side for him, or is it just too close to the Masters for him to compete this week? Ryan, what about you? We'll go to you first this time. We won't let Keith run
dominate.
The show. You're on mute though, Ryan. So
classic. Had to check mine after I said that.
Oh no, we still can't hear you.
The thing about the Homa story here, and I get why it comes out, and after a rain out on Monday, and we get a little dribble drabble. We haven't had a story this week. We haven't had a real shakeup. Right. We haven't had really anything that's going to inject the normal Masters juice, and so we get a breakup. And he says it wasn't by choice. Listen, he didn't say that the sex was not consensual. He said I got dumped. All right. And really, if you read between the lines, it was it was a bad breakup there in your but with the Max thing, Ryan, I think it's just that this is what it is. It's on its face value. He said, we're friends and I'm playing like dog shit. And he could probably read the tea leaves of like, this is it, bro. We got to part ways. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he shows up on JT's bag, that almost makes sense too. You see all these team events that they've played with, the bro camaraderie that happens. It's a small world, and JT is looking for that little edge, that little something, that just little shake up that's going to get him back to where he used to be. So what do you think, Rye? Where am I on this Homa story? Big deal, no big deal?
I think it's a big deal. I think it's a big deal for both Homa and JT. I mean, was this festering behind the scenes with JT potentially having him be the caddy before the breakup happened? If that was the case,
they're partners on the the TGL.
Yep. So maybe they had some chemistry and, a little behind the scenes dating, and it came to fruition. I don't know if the caddy can putt for JT, so we'll see if that happens or not. But I think it's a story for both players. And like you said, can this help a JT get him moving in the right direction? Do we know who Max's caddy is going to be? Is he going to pull the old Augusta National caddy out of the hat?
I did say that if you if he shows up with a local caddy, and you know exactly who I'm talking about too.
Oh yeah,
sitting there ripping a heater, got another packet back,
got nothing on underneath that white jumpsuit.
Yeah, 70 years old. He did 2 loops at the local earlier, and then he's going to come carry for you. I'm betting the house on Max Homa, but no, it's a guy named Bill Hark. I guess he just has worked with them, previously, or he's kind of in his circle somehow. Gotcha. I think this is where what we're getting from Bill is kind of when Bryson broke up with his caddy, and I think he had like his best buddy on the bag or something for a few minutes before he ultimately went to whoever it was his manager or something. It's like it was his manager who then moved into being his caddy, and I don't even know what he does now. Probably a YouTube producer, but Bill Hark. That's who you got on the bag for Max. And no, Billy it's not who I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this does line up well for JT because JT's in this interesting position where, he had 3 years in a row where he went 4th, T21, T8th. He was having a good run at this course, but 2 years in a row now, 23, 24, missed cuts. He's definitely kind of pulling all the stuff out of the bag this week to try to get back on track at Augusta National. And honestly, he's playing well enough right now where I'm not worried about JT this week. I'm not at the point yet where I'm necessarily he's not a fearless bet for me this week as far as DFS or anything, but he's close to it because I think he's just carrying enough good form right now that he should be okay this week. But it's Augusta National, and sometimes this course just gets in these guys' heads, and if they've known that they couldn't cut it the last 2 years, sometimes that's enough to just throw them off their game. And I kind of want to see JT turn that around before I'm necessarily comfortable throwing a bunch of units on him.
I think JT is a lock this week in DFS, especially at his price. I think he's got a legit chance to win. I've been saying on Ryan's radio show now for 2 months, he is 3-4 good putting days away from winning a golf tournament because his ball striking numbers are outrageous. 12th tee to green. He's 8th in approach, 2nd in par 4 scoring, 8th in par 5 scoring. He's actually doing well, avoiding bogeys. And then he's just putted so bad. But this is a course that you don't have to putt great. You just have to not 3-putt and make a lot of, self-inflicted wounds on the greens, which his 3-putt avoidance is not bad. He's in the top 40 there as well this year. And again, his ball striking is so good. He's going to eat up those par 5s. And remember, this is a course that 78% of the scoring for the field comes on the par 5. So if he plays them the way I know he's capable of doing it, I think he will be in contention. And I think the last 2 years was really more about that was really right in the height of his swoon, right? Like his swoon started early 2023. We saw it all the way through last year. And then when he came back, when the season rolled over in 2024 to start the new one, he's just been a different ball striker. Like he's got his ball striking back. And I think that, yes, the loss a few weeks ago really hurts because it was brutal. And I think it shocked him, but I think ultimately for these guys, it's so important to get back in that position. And even losing in heartbreaking fashion, it will make him better next time he gets in that kind of situation down the stretch in a tournament, which I think it will be soon.
Well, you nailed it with the putting because he's actually 20th in 3-putt avoidance right now on tour, so or at least in this tournament. That is good. And actually, I just did a quick look at his stats. At least the 5 stats that I was looking at. The only one that's really holding him back in my model is the fairways gained. He's towards the back of the field, like almost dead last in that fairways gained.
But the great thing is at Augusta, you can spray it. You just got to spray it in the right direction.
So yeah, he's going to miss in the right spots. But I guess, but that's where I think having a fresh caddy comes into play, because are they communicating in the way that flows in the right way to where they can understand each other, that missing in this spot and missing in this spot is okay, and not to go for like. Are they just on the same wavelength there? Because that's what I think where the caddy comes into play. And I want to see JT do good. I'm not rooting against JT. I think there's just too much up in the air for me to feel comfortable with it. Because in my opinion, this Masters is wide open this year. We talked about it on
Ooh,
Sunday
I don't know
night.
about that. Let's settle down.
I do agree. This Masters is wide open this year. So, like, do I feel like taking the chance on JT? I don't necessarily feel like I have to do that this year.
Scotty said, I got some bad news for you there, Andrew. Got
who are you agreeing with?
It's
wide open.
So I forget who it was that on Sunday night on the Golfer Gang roundtable. I forget who it was that said it, but
good God.
Unnamed sources. I don't ever.
No,
like
I
those.
just you go back and watch it. It's up on Divots and Pivots on Spotify. Go back and listen to it.
No, I do remember what he was talking about. There was a moment of brotherly love where nobody could come to a consensus on a winner. Wide open, I think, is hyperbole, because I do think there's about 4 guys that I'd be willing to say 4 versus the field. But to the Justin Thomas conversation, I mean, plus 400 for a top 5 is nothing to I mean, they agree with you. And I think that's pretty solid. That's up there with, Bryson 20 to 1 to win. Yeah, that's kind of saucy when you toss that out there. But the live factor, this is gonna be the first year that we've had a few years of live performance under our belt. I think Joaquin Neiman is gonna be the flag bearer for that crew. That that's at least gonna be on paper. But don't sleep on Sergio. And I know you didn't want to go live this early, but don't sleep on Sergio for a couple reasons. He won in Hong Kong about a month ago, and winning is winning to these guys, especially at that level. Once they've locked into, it's kind of like Brooks Koepka when he was on full swing on his couch and he's screaming at the TV, "What do you think's going through Scotty's head? Fucking nothing." Because he knows when you're either in the zone or you're not in the zone. And Sergio wins. He's a former champion. Traditionally, around this place, former champions tend to do well because it is so finicky. And like you said earlier, these guys are almost having to retrain their brain in a week to go from being snipers to saying, like, no, don't go for the headshot. Just, nick the elbow. It's like, what are you talking about? It's right there. I'm telling you, man, nick the elbow. And then the ball ends up 4 feet from the hole. And you're like, oh, that's why I have to do that. So yeah, putting, you're not gonna, I don't think you're gonna out putt the field to win a Masters, but you can absolutely putt your way out of one real quick. See Mr. Nikolai Højgaard last year. That's the other sneaky good story. I'm kind of waiting to see how that guy bounces back.
Are you scared about, like, for whatever reason, Sergio, since winning the Masters, missed the cut 5 out of 6 appearances? I just worry that I don't know, man. Like, I do think that for a lot of these, especially some of the older guys, not playing in 4-round events matters. Like, I do think it makes a difference. I like actually quite a lot of live guys. I think that there's a real betting advantage and DFS advantage because for whatever reason, there's like a live tax on everybody not named Bryson and Rahm. And like, to me, Patrick Reed is probably the most undervalued guy in the tournament, both on DFS and betting boards. I mean, you're getting him 100 to 1, a guy that has 4 top 12s in his last 5 starts there, plus a win, before that. So, and like, I love Mickelson again, top 10, top 20 bets. It's crazy that you're getting, double digit odds for him to top 10 in a venue he's owned. Sergio, like, I get it. And I'll go ahead and admit that I have him in some DK lineups, but like single entry cash game, I can't trust him enough with other players kind of in that range. I would much rather play a Patrick Reed, who's basically the same price on DK this week than I would Sergio.
I'd take Sergio plus 400 for the top 10. I wouldn't put him anywhere for a win. And with Patrick Reed, I love that too, because people forget his story. Georgia guy gets kicked off the team, exited, whatever you want to call it, ends up at Augusta State. And
almost gets kicked off the team at Augusta State. I know him all too well. Augusta State used to qualify at the golf course.
Brian, tell him how highly everybody views Patrick Reed.
I know such a douchebag. Everybody would come in to the golf shop and thank us every time they came out and played. He was the only one that wouldn't. The entire team actually voted him off Augusta State, and his dad and him came in and met with Josh Gregory and basically begged to stay on that Augusta State team. Obviously, flash forward to match play, he puts on a performance.
They win 2 national
back-to-back
titles, right?
national championships. My wife and I were actually at the banquet for the second one, but I mean, Henrik Norlander, all those guys were so nice, and Patrick Reed was just a jackass, and he will always be. And I love him in match play because if you're a jackass, match play is a huge advantage because you're cocky, you're a jerk,
you're going to make someone putt out a forfeit putt.
Yeah, you get people's heads. I mean, that little sequence with him and Rory, however long ago that was absolutely fantastic golf. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he plays Augusta well, so I'm always looking for him to make
11 to 1 to top 5 plus 440 to top 10 on DK Sportsbook. I took both of those and got him actually at 110 to 1. He is now down to, I believe, 90 to 1 on there.
Yeah, I'd much rather bet Patrick Reed than Sergio Garcia, honestly. And yeah, Patrick Reed 7,300 on DraftKings, so that is
steal.
If you want to talk about
lineups,
if you want to talk about getting some past champions in your lineups, which I think is like you said, a very viable strategy when it comes to playing some DFS this week.
Most predictive annual course on the PGA Tour,
exactly
by far.
Yep.
He's there at 7,300. DJ's there at 7,500. I don't necessarily
easy now. Again, I'm not saying that goes on every patch.
I'm not going to get behind.
I'm laughing at this DJ in general.
Sepp Straka's 100 more. I'd much rather go with my boy.
That's what I was going to say. I 100% because I don't believe DJ honestly gives a fuck enough anymore.
I don't think he cares about golf.
He checked out. Exactly. He admitted it on the full swing. That hey, I'm taking the money. I'm done.
Yeah, so I would never bet him.
Won 2 majors, and the rest is history.
Gets to be with Miss Gretzky. It's not all bad to be DJ.
No, he's got a fine life.
There's something to be said about being John Elway, or just knowing when to walk away. Being DJ, where it's like, you know what, it's never going to get better than this. I got a lifetime ticket to Augusta. I'll fall ass backwards into a handful of other majors, I'm sure. Let's go.
My daddy-in-law's loaded.
Yeah,
so I'm good.
Let's roll. 2 things. Paulina bumped into Andrew and I at the live event.
You're gonna bring this up again?
He didn't even know. Oh, for fucking sure. We were walking and we were just waiting.
You could see her. She wasn't too thin where you just walked by.
No, she was literally 2 feet away from me, and you wouldn't have known I knew.
It's
How'd
weird.
She smell?
Huh? I said weird, but she was incredibly pretty in person. There's a freaking shocker for you. It was the same tournament. I threw some shade at Patrick Reed when he was on the back of a golf cart driving off. I think I yelled "Go Dogs" to him or something like that. And he cocked his head to the side, got
he
real
laughed
big.
about it though.
He laughed about it later. I saw him and was like, "Hey man, sorry about that. I was just busting balls." And he's like, "Oh man, I don't give a fuck." And he slapped me on the back a little harder than I think he should have, but that's neither here nor there. No, the DJ thing, I started laughing, Andrew, because I wasn't thinking you were suggesting him. But if you've been paying attention on the social medias this week, Augusta National, the Masters has a new social media team because they have been killing it, and they have been all over the place, and they have been behind the scenes, sun up, sun down. They've got the voiceovers from whoever the fuck's doing it, not Carl Ravitch, but you know what I'm talking about, Tom Rinaldi, that shit. Pretty soon we're gonna get the ESPN. Who's that writer who always comes in for the Masters? You know who I'm talking about, Forrest something. But Dustin Johnson was the central focus of their latest little bit, where they did a ticket order comes into the bar or the restaurant, and it pops up from the champions locker room, 1 pimento cheese sandwich. And then they do a little point of view, prepping it, the little thing, and then they put a camera on the plate, and they march the little plate through the clubhouse, and it opened. There's DJ's big dumb face, just smiling, staring for that pimento.
Just got done doing a line of cocaine in the bathroom, feeling good.
No, he doesn't do that anymore. Come on.
No, I think actually my favorite clubhouse story, real quick. Miguel Angel Jimenez. They said that he was in there. It's I don't know, 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and he's having a steak, a cigar, and a glass of wine, and they were like, "Oh, how'd you play?" He's like, "I'm teeing off in 20 minutes." And they're like, "There's this guy just, cranking back red wine in a porterhouse before he goes and plays Augusta National." To be that guy.
Sounds like me before my golf rounds. Was it Marty Johnson, the guy you're talking about, the dude that does NASCAR? Because I really do like him, the redhead.
No, I love me some Marty. Marty Smith from ESPN.
Oh, Marty Smith. I don't know.
I love me Marty. Listen, I'm a big Marty guy. No, I'll figure out who it is.
Speaking of, you said, I think you said Cabrera, and it reminded me that Angel Cabrera is back.
Yes. Hey,
and I'm quickly pulling
35 to 1 to top 20. Just saying.
So here's the thing, because he came out of jail. He went to the Champions Tour last week. What did he finish? Because I forget. It was
he won it.
He won
the event.
He won it. Yeah. I was quickly looking it up because I couldn't remember. But yeah, to come out of jail and just go out there. In the picture, I've seen a picture of him with just the sunglasses on. He looks like such a badass. Where he just looks like he has a I don't give a fuck anymore face on it. How could you not come out of jail not looking like that? So,
not just any jail. He was in some South American lockup.
I was gonna say he was in an Argentinian jail. So
it's a guy with 11 top 25s at Augusta since 2006 top 10s, and again he's 35 to 1 to top 20. And we've seen these guys older age. He can still move it. He proved that the senior tour last week. Like 35-1 odds. I like that bet. I really
If you can bet Bernhard Langer top 20 in the first round, do it. Because that guy, he shows up first round.
This is his last one, too.
I expect the same thing out of Angel Cabrera, honestly. Because
I might throw a little something on Bernhard to make the cut. I think he's gonna. I think
he's his last one. It would make so much sense.
Right. So that's.
Do you think if Scotty Scheffler has a sense of humor, where is Angel Cabrera sitting at the Champions Dinner tonight?
Oh, we could probably find that out because I
set him next to Tiger's empty chair. Do you think Tiger's going?
Thank you. I was about to say
Tiger will be there. Tiger.
He's got
it. Okay, then set him next to Tiger.
They just posted the group picture, so we could probably figure this out. Honestly,
I wonder how bad the
sandwich between Reed and DJ
split is for the dinner. You know what I mean? Because you got like Reed, DJ, Phil, Sergio.
Woods was not there. Woods did not go.
So say it's sitting next to the empty chair.
9 minutes ago, despite Woods' absence, the dinner went on as planned with host Scotty Scheffler running the show.
Nice.
No one was arrested?
No, not yet. And I'm quickly looking at the group picture.
That Richmond County Jail is a scary place. I've never been there, but I've heard a lot of stories. You don't want to go there.
Because I'm assuming Angel's there, but I didn't see him immediately in the picture, so I'm kind of curious if he actually was there.
Maybe if you have a spent time in jail, you can't actually go into the building.
There was a lot of talk of that prior that, it was going to be a little bit of a PR thing for Augusta National of letting someone who served prison time.
What did Bud say? They got FU money, Ryan.
Angel Cabrera is not.
We do what we want.
Angel Cabrera is not pictured in the group picture.
Smart move.
Yeah. Oh no! Wait, there he is. Nope. I do see him.
I know. I part of the deal is you got to stand to the side here. You're not in the photo.
Yeah, he went to Washington Road.
I'll be okay.
I think I see him standing right next to Hideki, and I can't tell who that is right next to him. Honestly,
they're like, just put him with the people that don't speak English.
Yeah, right. He's right in front of Bubba Watson, though, so whatever that means.
Another guy who doesn't speak.
Another guy who doesn't speak English.
I'll tell you, they do not speak English in Baghdad, Florida. No disrespect to the Panhandle. I'm a Panhandle kid myself.
Hey, there's your Panhandle boy right there, host of.
But that's Pensacola. That's a whole nother.
Yeah, your Panama City. That's different.
Yeah.
Tallanasty's a different place. No, a buddy of mine's actually a workers' comp attorney in Augusta. So when you said that Richmond County Jail, I'm gonna reach out and see if he has any stories.
I'm sure he's got some good ones.
Yeah, for sure he does.
And I'm sure there's some good ones during Masters Week because tonight's that I think they still do the Rock Verdot concert. It used to be Hootie and the Blowfish, then it was just Darius Rucker. There's a couple different. I think Third Eye Blind might have been there one year.
Bring back Hootie. You got to bring. I saw Hootie 2 years ago at Fenway. He opened for Kane Brown. I wasn't there for Kane Brown. I went for Hootie.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you what, Hootie was amazing. That was my childhood right there. So yeah, the Hootie belongs at the Masters in my opinion.
Rock Verdot, baby.
So we just talked about the dinner, but I know you had a question. I know where you're going with this. Do you want to ask your question now before we get into the betting?
See, this is what happens when I text you when I have a thought, and I should.
And then you forget your thought.
No, I don't forget it. I moved past it, but I mean, I was hungry. I was cooking, and I was just like, "What would?" And I texted him. I was like, "What would your Masters dinner be?" And I thought through it, and I was like, I'd probably start out. I'd have 2 appetizers. I'd have escargot, which is snails stuffed into mushrooms with some brie melted on top, and then I would have like a bruschetta or something like bruschetta, whatever, Barcelona. Traditional Caesar.
Is this the Rom dinner?
It's getting close. I'd have a traditional Caesar salad, and then I would have 2 options. You're either getting a ribeye or you're getting some sort of fish. I'm thinking swordfish. Maybe mahi. I'm a big mahi guy. And then my mom's wild rice as a side option, and then or just down deep southern mac and cheese. And then for dessert, we're going basically milkshakes. Sorry, chocolate chip milkshakes. There you go. There's my Masters dinner. Sorry, I got a little lost because I'm fucking starving, and now I really.
I can hear it in your voice. I can hear it. You seem malnourished. So.
I had tri-tips about an hour ago, and it's just not doing it for me.
No, that's good. See, I think I would.
Anybody have one?
I would try to throw a wrench into it, honestly, and I would insist on a buffet just to fuck with Augusta and see how much I could push them.
They would say, Andrew, it's not happening.
Exactly. I know they would, but I'd try.
I had no idea up until today that you are not forced to eat that dinner. You can order off your normal club. That's bullshit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You should have to eat whatever that's on
Have
the
you
menu.
seen some of the stuff that they have, Ryan?
Absolutely.
I'm a picky eater. I would be like, it's a hard
You're also
pass.
not a Masters champion. I
No,
think
but
that's
that's
like
still
I don't think we have to
badge
worry
that you
about that either at this point.
Like you're saying though, Ryan, that's part of winning the Masters. You get to
eat the Chilean sea bass.
everyone eats.
You have to. Yeah,
then
so I
part
found
of you
that out.
It's like
So disappointing.
say your rival's a past champion, you get to sit there and pick something that they don't like just because you don't like them. Like, come on. I know that's not how golf works, but that's how I work.
It's not your Sweet 16. It's Augusta National. You get to set the menu, not the rules. What I love about it, though, is apparently, though, yes, they have a menu, and then they got the Champions Dinner menu, but then they also just have anything else under the sun. Apparently, like there's stories of people who go in there and they're like, "What would you like? What do you have?" And they're like, "What do you want?" And I think it was Dan Patrick on Dan Patrick's show. DP, I love him. Daily listener, and he was talking about how I think he asked for pesto. He's like, I haven't had a good pesto dish in a while. And the cook was like, thank God somebody asked me for something that's like, good, like I gotta make different. It, not a fucking fried chicken sandwich, and that kind of stuff. So I think all the rumors are true. Augusta National is one of those few places where, like you said, when you show up, it's like the Grand Canyon. It won't disappoint. It won't underwhelm. And then every legend you hear, it's like, that's not a legend. That actually happens. Kind of like their wine collection is probably one of the more impressive in North America, if not the world.
Yeah, I want to see their whiskey collection too. Yeah. As I sit here drinking a cheap whiskey, I would love to see their whiskey collection as well, because that's what I always see when they're having their cocktails on the the veranda or whatever you want to call it before the dinner. Like I always see them with, I always see them with their glasses of whiskey. I want to know what they're drinking.
It's probably some custom blend that they had brought in specifically for Augusta National.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like Berkman's Place. If you get a Berkman's Place ticket, you literally can eat anything, and it's all flown in daily. And all the South Carolina.
Have you been to Berkman's?
I had one opportunity back in 2014, and I only got to go for a couple hours.
My dad's gone 4 times and has
I never got to
me
play
in.
it though.
What
like
a
you
dick!
did.
Yeah, the greens and Condoleezza Rice gave him his putter and ball the first year he went, like to start, because you get to play the 3 replica or put on the 3 replica greens, and
they change it every year.
Yeah.
Oh, they cut the holes every day apparently.
Each year I'd be like, Dad, can you make this happen? Obviously you have the ability to get in. And he was like, nah, I'm not pushing my luck with this boy. So
closest I got to Berkman's was last year at the PGA at Valhalla. Was my brother-in-law was a volunteer for the week. So he calls me Saturday before he gets his kit in the mail. He's drunk. He's like, hey, you got to get here. I was at a bar in Maine. And I looked at my wife, who was with one of her best friends, and just kind of was like, shoot your shot moment. I'm like, hey, honey, mind if I fly to Louisville on Wednesday? And she's like, yeah, go for it. And so he volunteered, but then we're there for the first round. He got me a ticket. We're walking around, and I didn't realize that like he grew up in Louisville, and and like his family just knows everybody who knows everybody. So we walk the course backwards. We go to all the different tents and the merch and this and that and the other. He's like, all right, you ready to go settle in? I was like, yeah, sure. So we walk up towards the 18th, and it was the members tent overlooking the 17th and the 18th, which was basically like a couple of fields, like warehouses with giant TVs everywhere, food stations and everything. It was pretty dope. It was a good time. I like to say it's like, yeah, there's a reason that these people enjoy the way that they live. But
it's good to know people. You learn that the older you get. It really is.
With the Berkman's thing, when did that open? Was it 2013 or was it older than that?
It was about 2013 because I think it was the year after it opened is when I had the opportunity.
I think once they realized they could make money in other ways.
Yeah, no. And
but Dad said it's incredible. Like whatever you want to drink, whatever
literally,
you want to
it's
eat,
nuts,
like,
and it's all run by the University of South.
There with stuff that you can't get
specific merchandise.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You can get the like the members.
Yeah, the actual. Yeah, the same stuff.
Which is a different logo. Yeah.
Yep.
The Augusta National Golf Club logo versus what we're wearing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of like at Pinehurst. I guess it's in the fall on the what would that be? The autumnal equinox. I think that's the scientific term for it. They have a special.
I can spell either one of those words. But
I saw last year that they and I don't know if it's an annual thing or if it was just last year. They had a whole special logo for that day. And
I think they do some big event that day too, if I'm not mistaken, like a golf marathon or something like that. I don't know. So they really love the autumnal equinox up there in.
I know at Abandon and Pacific Dunes.
Yes,
they do like 110 holes where they try to do a 100-hole challenge on the autumnal equinox.
Can't we just say longest day of the year? I mean, this is
No, this is a scientific.
I'm a country boy. Okay.
Yeah,
they have a special. They just have a special fall cradle logo. It's the C for the cradle with the boy, the sleeping boy, but there's like leaves everywhere and everything's orange and shit. So, anyways, we've gone fully round the bend.
That's all right. That often happens here in Divots.
Well worth it.
That's fine. We love it that way. Real fast, I put it up early, but I do want to say, TJ, thanks for joining the show.
Okay.
Bud, do you have any updates on how you're doing tonight for him? Or
phenomenal, outstanding, fantastic.
Okay,
the gentlemen over at Basic Bogies are some quality individuals. TJ and Gary, shout out to the boys in Syracuse.
How are we supposed to feel that TJ literally only asked how Mr. Bud's doing? Screw Ryan, Keith, Andrew. Like,
I don't know.
Thanks, TJ.
I think he's prepping for what I think Bud has been trying to figure out with them for a little while about a 2v2 match with us and them. So I think he's just starting the
that's
there.
Cool. I like that. Okay,
let's start the kind of, because we're getting towards it here. Let's get into some picks. Let's get into some predictions and some betting. And I want to start off with this because I'll be curious to see where we go with this. My first question to you guys is, who is going to be this year's Neil Shipley? And what I mean by that is, like, not just low amateur, but is there going to be an amateur that just shocks and awes us this year? I have my pick who I think is going to be low amateur. I don't think we're going to have a Neil Shipley again this year that absolutely blows us away, though. Does anybody feel different about anybody in the field? I'll save my pick for last, but Keith, why don't you go first for us?
No, I don't mess with amateurs at Augusta. I mean, typically you have to have at least 3 starts at Augusta to really get your footing. And for every Ludwig Oberg, sorry, changed his name, last year, there's 30 guys that missed the cut their first year at Augusta. And so to do it as an amateur, I just couldn't imagine how nervous those poor dudes are on the first tee. So, I mean, if you want to bet low am, I get that. But overall, I just stay away from them. DFS, betting, etc.
Not putting them into a DFS lineup by any means, because I agree with you. But I do think the low amateur conversation is interesting, because I believe there's 5 of them this year. Like, it's not a massive field, so like the odds are decent to get one right. Ryan, do you have a thought on low amateur at all?
If I went with and I actually somehow I bet Neil Shipley last year. He seemed to have that not giving a fuck attitude, and
that's what it takes.
His hair.
Yeah. He's just good old Northern boy coming down to Georgia from Ohio State and playing some fantastic golf. But I believe he was the runner-up at the U.S. Amateur. So just because of that, I would go with Noah Kent. For the United States as low amateur. That's the only reason. It's a smaller group of amateurs this year in a large field for Augusta. I think the largest field since mid-2000s or something like that. So, but yeah, that would be my thought process if I had to throw a dart at a dartboard.
So I was actually, Noah Kent was one of the guys I was between, but where I landed actually was purely stat driven. I actually went with Justin Hastings from the Cayman Islands for my pick for low amateur, because when I looked at the stats, he's positive in every strokes gain stat that is available for this tournament. But he's even not just positive; he's above 1 in my main stats that I'm using for this tournament. So Justin Hastings is an amateur that I think has a chance to possibly make the cut. I still don't think he will, but I think he's a lock for low amateur.
No, I think your math is flawed. This is where it's more art than science, because we're talking about amateurs at Augusta National. So
I know who you're going with.
You got to read the chicken bones and the tea leaves.
See, this is why I left you last.
I have two that I'm still kind of between, and I'm dead ass serious. But if I'm going to go low amateur, it's either going to be Jose Luis Ballester, the US Am winner. The Spaniard, the fiery ASU kid, the next John Rahm, not to stereotype, but also there's this kind of like cosmic Spanish thing going with the young lady who won the Augusta National Women's Amateur. But really, it's David Ford, the kid from UNC. He just won the Augusta Haskins Award Invitational, and it's his 4th victory in the NCAA circuit this year. His 6th overall from UNC. He's a Walker Cup guy. He's Billy Badass. He just kind of wears his hat like a 6th grader. And
Why
so
am
I
I
think
not seeing this guy on the list?
Yeah,
of
I don't
amateurs?
actually recognize that name.
He's
either
on.
for this
He's on
tournament.
there. Yeah.
Is he?
Did
Why
he just?
did David Ford pop up for me when I was? My
Yeah,
amateur
he's not
research?
listed on the amateurs. Or if you just search him in general, I'm not finding him.
Is he not technically an amateur anymore? Like, did he go?
Yeah, he
did
is, but I
go
don't even
pro,
know if he's
or-
at the Masters. I could be reading this wrong, and I think I was.
No, I
he got
actually
his
thought I
PGA
saw
card.
him in an
Don't pick-
article.
well,
I'm
now
sticking
you
with
got your
Bias
answer.
Stare. I'm sticking with Jose Luis Bias
Yeah.
Stare.
But you know what? That's a solid move considering we're now questioning if your other guy is even in the tournament.
Yeah.
No, he's not. I really thought he was. for
I
some
swore
reason.
I read something yesterday with his name with the guys in
3M
the field
Open.
team.
He got it.
Keith, it's
I thought he
so
got.
nice.
I swear to God, I thought David Ford, and then I was trying to figure that out. Noah Kent is who I'm thinking of when I think of David Ford, even though he's not doesn't even swing from the same side of the club.
No.
But the Florida Gator. I don't know why I thought about that.
You know what I
Yep.
want to say? I want to say right now, Keith. You know, bravo for just riding that wave with
Got
Bud.
to.
You were
I
gonna
appreciate
go.
it.
Yeah.
You were gonna go to
You
war
jumped
with
in.
him for
Why not?
Ford, whatever his first name was.
He's got your
Yeah.
back. He's got
Ford,
your
whatever
back.
his first name is.
Yeah.
David Ford.
I'm
His
trying to
first
make
name-
sure that
David,
he
that's right.
actually,
He's not. He won
follows
the
me on
Augusta. He won the
Twitter
Augusta.
and
He won the Augusta.
responds to the message I sent him last year after I came on the show. So I figured if I'm
not
extra
even
nice
on
to
Twitter.
him,
So
My
here's what
phone
you
he
do
was.
about
This is a
Bud.
lot of time on the Augusta amateurs, competing and not competing in this.
Listen,
tournament
if
this
I could
year.
do anything, I would want to spend the night in the crow's nest. That's
course.
my
Yeah.
big thing. I want to go up there. I want to, sit there, read a
secret
book.
door, secret stairway,
Right.
all
I'm
that.
gonna steal.
stuff.
I'm gonna try to steal
just
a
get me on
towel.
the course. I don't care. I'll stay at a Motel 6.
Put me in a tent.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me ask you this: if you could spend 24 hours, an entire night and day on Augusta National property, but you were not allowed to swing a golf club, hit a ball, or do anything,
Oh,
or you get to go out and play 18 holes at Augusta National. You get to go play the course, however you want, set up with whoever you want. Which one are you choosing?
Of course, the
playing.
18 holes. I
I'm
want to play the
playing.
course.
I thought you were going to throw some other caveat in
Yeah, I
playing
was
the
so-
course thing.
I was
No,
honestly
I would
waiting for
absolutely
you to. I
sacrifice
was
a round
honestly.
of golf for 24 hours and full access to everywhere. The Butler cabin, the Eisenhower cabin, the
I don't
wine
care about that
cellar.
stuff. I mean, it's cool.
Ike's office over the pro shop. I would want to see, do they still I want to see the tunnels underneath the course. I want to see, that's what I'm talking about, like full access.
No,
to the
I
whole
get
damn
it,
thing.
but I have
I'm-
scar tissue. Ryan knows this.
Talk
When
to
I
me,
worked
Goose.
as an assistant pro down at St. Simon's,
David Ford.
we had a member that was a member at Augusta National. Me and the assistant were in there, like, you got to get us on there. And I swear to you, for 2006, which was my first year there, he's like, I'll take Brandon. He did. 2007, I'll take you. 45 days before my tee time. We already had a tee time. I had already had to send in information for like security and shit. And the dude died. And I felt like a horrible human being because
No,
it was almost 2
that's the
days
one
where I
time
started
it's
thinking
okay.
about like
It's okay.
That's
You-
not
his
worth it.
family, and all that. All I could think is this motherfucker couldn't last another 46 days. Seriously?
You
And I
couldn't have
came
died on
close
the
to
course and
playing
then I
it.
could finish my
Not
round.
close
Like,
then.
what you're thinking?
Not close to playing it since.
Did you guys, not to go off topic, but I'm going to.
That's
This is the
Pivot's
pivot. This
model.
is the pivot
the right
portion
show
of
for
That's
the
the
it.
show.
pivot portion. Your story there, Keith, made me think of a story I talked about on the air today. I don't know if you guys saw this one. There was a guy that I guess his Facebook page got hacked and like duplicated, and like they listed his Masters tickets, and he had Masters tickets.
Oh, I did see
I
they-
did
this.
see
yeah.
this.
He got
listed
banned,
them,
right?
and
Now
he
he's
got
banned for life.
forever. He's
Yeah.
never going to be able to get tickets again, and it wasn't even him. He even brought the tickets and to
There's a
Augusta
picture of him
National.
holding the envelope. That
Yeah.
they
Oh, I
sent
saw
to
the
him.
sign of like, please
How
help me
brutal.
get unbanned or
Yeah,
whatever.
he's trying to get a
Oh
lot of
my
traction.
God.
It's getting a lot of traction, but
Yeah, I
I
did
hope
see
it
that.
does.
that
Like,
would be brutal. I mean, obviously the guy dying and you not being able to play is pretty brutal too, but to never have an opportunity to go to the Masters again in your entire life, and I'm sure they'll carry that on to his kids because
They
like you guys
will.
said, they don't give a
Masters.
rat's patootie with that kind of money. So I
But-
thought that was pretty wild.
I want to know right now because why not? Let's get dark with this. What's more devastating, the guy dying or Keith not playing at Augusta?
Keith not playing at Augusta.
He's not playing at
Exactly.
Augusta.
If you're
I didn't
asking me,
realize
you
that
know
was
the
a
answer.
question.
No, I knew the answer. I just
Yeah.
wanted us all. I didn't want to be alone in thinking that. I wanted us all to say.
No, and I think anybody who's a golf fan and a golf player would say the same thing. Like that's
Right.
that's all hollowed ground. Only a very small population of golfers ever get to even step foot on the property with their golf clubs, let alone get a chance to play it or even go to it. So yeah, no, I would say the Augusta, the guy dying was not being able to play is worse for sure.
Well, in true Divots and Pivots, we've taken a turn that wasn't planned, but we rolled with it, and we're now left with 10 minutes to try to make you some money with some bets and some picks and some predictions, because that's just how me and Bud roll. So real fast, let's roll through some of these. I want to hear, because we only got 10 minutes left. Let's stick to a guy you like for top 20, top 10, top 5, and a winner. Let's go around. Let's start with the top 20. Ryan, let's start with you. Do you have a guy that you like the odds to bet at top 20?
And I know we already talked about it, but the Angel Cabrera at 35-1 to top 20. Like, if you don't take that, you must not like money. Watch him, shoot 82 or something like that.
It's well worth it at 35-1. I mean, you have a hard time getting that odds on a winner a lot of weeks on the PGA Tour these days.
And he's going to be out there, wanting to do as much as he can to stay in the limelight. I mean, the fact that he won last week, obviously on a lot shorter yardage, but the fact that he won last week, he's at least playing good golf, and they must have had a simulator or something there in prison for him.
Well, and
he stayed in form.
We just said part of doing well at Augusta is the not give a fuck attitude, and I don't see how Angel Cabrera doesn't fall into
course history. 16 top 25 since 2009 top 10s. Like he knows how to get around that golf course.
Yeah, exactly. Keith, how about you for top 20?
I mean, it's Phil Mickelson at 3-1. This is a guy that, owns Augusta. I know 43rd last year, but the year before T2, year before that T21, 2020 T18. And since 2013 top 10s, 11 top 5s. It is a little concerning. He's missed the cut in 7 out of 11 majors that are not Augusta National, but this is Augusta National. And I always trust Phil there. I actually got to watch live because it's on a real channel this weekend in Miami, and his short game looked pretty good, which that's the main thing for Phil. Phil's always going to be able to strike it around Augusta. It's how well can he scramble and how many putts can he make?
Agreed. But how about you? Do you have anyone for top 20? Are you looking at bets that closely?
Nick Dunlap plus I think he's plus 650. He's another kind of phenom, US Junior Am, US Am. I want to say he won one of those in Southern Pines, which is not anywhere near Augusta. I'm just remembering Nick Dunlap, but he also won on the Pro Tour as an amateur. So again, one of those guys who we're talking about a top 20. I think that's kind of probably where he might even be going and trying to think that's my goal for the week.
I like that. For me, top 20, I'm going to go Denny McCarthy at plus 280. And if you don't think I'm not going to get confused at least once on Thursday and Friday with him playing with Matthew McCarty when they show the scoreboard, you're terribly wrong. I am 100% going to get excited over the wrong guy at least once. It's going to be fantastic. But no, I just think Denny McCarthy, I know we talked about putting not being necessarily the most important stat about hitting putts, but he's also top 12 in 3-putt avoidance, and he is good enough. He's a good enough putter at hitting those putts to where I think he can pull himself into a top 20. So I like Denny McCarthy at plus 280 for it.
Made the cut in his debut, which not a lot of guys do that don't have like elite distance. So I think that bodes well for him. He'll have obviously more course knowledge this week.
Exactly. I do like that. Keith, let's start with you first this time. How about a top 10 guy that you're willing to bet?
I'd mentioned him earlier, but it's the villain, Patrick Reed, plus 440. 4 out of the last 5 trips to Augusta, T12 or better. He gained a record for the Live, 5.3 strokes just on the greens in his opening round. I think it was 5 under at Doral. That's how Reed dominates at Augusta, is he can freaking roll the rock. He's one of the best wedge players in the game. And he's one of those guys, again, I feel so confident in DK and on all these bets with him, especially the prop ones, that it's just whether or not he has a good iron week. If he does, he's going to be in contention to win. If he doesn't, he can still be in contention to get top 10, top 20, because he's so good at avoiding bogeys around Augusta National.
I do like that Patrick Reed play. Ryan, what about you for top 10?
Muted.
Oh, you're on mute again. We lost Sherry again. Let's see how fast you get it back this time. Oh, you're not back yet. Bud, how about you? Top 10 while Ryan figures out his headset again.
A little bit of a dark horse, a little bit of a deep pull, but I'm gonna throw a little bit of love to Maverick McNeely at plus 900. He just coming off of a top 5 finish. I think he was 3rd last week at Valero.
Ball striker.
And he's got the edge. He's got that little chip on his shoulder because people are starting to get real ruthless with the trust fund boy and the rich kid daddy. You can't buy your way because he's a trust fund kid. His dad found like Sun Microsoft systems or whatever the fuck that chip is in all of our computers. And instead of going into any other line of work or starting his own business, he's like, I want to be a pro athlete. Now he's here. And so I kind of personally want to pull for him just because I think it's, he's getting some unfair shade thrown his way, even though it's fun to throw it. But Mav McNeely plus 950 for a top 10, that would be, again, I think if you put that in front of him and said, will you sign off top 10 this week? Yes, done.
Top 25 in the PGA last year. He's somebody that is shown.
He always slides under the radar.
Close. He's close.
Yeah, he's there.
His first name's Maverick too. I mean,
seriously.
If his caddy's name was Goose, how awesome would that be?
Oh man, unless he passed away, then I'd be super sad.
I want to hear Ryan's top 10, but could you imagine? Because they have to pay for their own champions dinner. Could you imagine Mav McNeely's champions dinner? Sorry, go ahead.
No, it'd be fantastic. Fantastic. But anyway, I was going to say, sorry, I was on mute again, but Aaron Rye at plus 750. He's one of the better people on tour the last couple of weeks. And I think this is his first time.
It is. I wonder what his odds are for lowest debut player.
Yeah, that's a good one. Too.
Is it his first? I thought he played last year. It's his first time this year.
He was on the debut. I'm pretty sure I looked this up on DK, and he was on there. Where is
on that Masters fantasy thing? I think he was in the first time.
Yeah, that's what it was. He was on the Masters.
Yeah, the Masters Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I believe you then. I believe you.
Yeah,
I like that.
But
yeah. I like that. For me, a top 10, I'm gonna ride Keegan Bradley at plus 550. I like that bet that he's just been playing different than we've seen him in the last few years. He's got this little edge to him now. That Ryder Cup captaincy, he's taking it seriously. I like we said, coming into Augusta, you kind of have to have this gravitas and this confidence about you. He seems to have that right now. I don't care how ugly that mustache is on him. Keegan Bradley, he's putting good. And what he is also mainly doing well is par 5 scoring. He's top 10 in par 5s right now. So give me Keegan Bradley for a top 10 finish at plus 550. I like that a lot. Let's get to quickly. We only got a few minutes left. Top 5. Let's go around. Bud, let's start with you. Top 5.
Ludwig. I just think he's gonna right the ship, and he's gonna remember who he is this week.
Absolutely.
You know what? Before we get to you guys, I'm agreeing. Ludwig at plus 300. That was exactly my top 5 pick as well. Ryan, who do you have?
I've got Xander. He's kind of sliding. I don't want to say sliding under the radar, but he's got a good track record at Augusta. He's had a lot of starts there, and 5-1 to top 5, I think, is the value I would be kind of looking for with the player to put a few units on that one.
I like it. Keith, how about you?
My favorite bet this week, Sepp Straka, 10-1 to top 5. Also, again, just love him.
Austrian
to win at 75-1. I don't think people realize how well he's playing right now. He has Masters experience. It's so big for guys to win this tournament, to have at least 3 starts. He finished 30th, first time there, 46th, 16th last year, playing the best golf of his career. But, I mean, this dude across the board, 6 tee to green, 5th in strokes gained approach, 2nd in proximity and green and regulation percentage, 19th on approaches at 200-plus yards, which we get a lot of those long irons into the greens, particularly on the par 5, top 50 in 3-putt avoidance, 7th in bogey avoidance, and this is my favorite stat, 6th in par 3 scoring, 17th in par 4 scoring, 2nd in par 5 scoring. Dude is just playing arguably the best golf on tour, and he's comfortable with Augusta because playing at UGA, he played Augusta National a ton in college before he ever turned pro. I think Straka, and also big thing, a lot of guys, I think it's the last 8 winners, all had a win entering the event already that season. Straka has a check next to that. I love Straka, getting him 10-1 to top 5 on a course that he's been trending up on, and his game's so good. I think that's potentially stealing. Also love him on DK at like 7,600.
See, I agree with every stat you just said. There's no argument for me against Sepp Straka except for the fact that he seems like the chalkiest person this week. It's all I'm hearing people talk about. He's 4th projected ownership this week at 18% when it comes to DK lineups. He
should be though.
So I agree. Like everything lines up, but every year we get that guy that lines up perfectly for this course and then flops.
His name's Rory McIlroy. Well, yeah, we got him.
Sepp Straka scares me this week, but I 100% get the argument, and I'm fully there. Real fast, because I was reading something I spaced. Ryan, did we get your top 5 pick already?
You did.
Okay.
Let's move on.
It's David Ford. David Ford's coming in top 5. No amateur top 5. And all right. We're going to do winners, Andrew. That's what we're going to close with the winner.
Yes.
I am going to give Rory a shot. I'm going to go in like the New
York
Jets.
Every one of the trends.
I know. But here's another winning bet, though. Xander Schauffele plus 800 to be in the final pairing on Sunday.
Oh, that's a fun bet. I like that.
But Rory's going to win.
I like that.
I think that right there. Go ahead, just bet him 18-1, right? Bud to win, because I think that he's proven winning 2 of the last 3 majors. If he's in that final group, I like his chances.
Yeah. Can't argue with that, honestly. Ryan, how about you feel for a winner?
I'm going to go with Tony Finau at 55 or 50-1. He's got good track record at Augusta. Yeah, I mean, the value to get him at 50 or to 1 or higher. Obviously he plays well at Augusta, and he's one of those guys that you can't not love him. He's just a cool dude. He's got his huge family that travels with him everywhere, and he's got the game for Augusta. And I think he's waiting to break through and win one of the majors. And I think he's one of those guys that may win 1 or 2 majors in his career, but one of them will be at Augusta.
Tony Finau always rates out well at Augusta, so I do think eventually he will win one this year. It could be, and he's a guy that I would love to see win it, like because he's that likable. His family's that likable. Hell, I'm not a fashion guy, but I love his wife's TikTok, especially on major weeks when she shows the
from big break contestant to Masters champion. That's the American dream.
Yeah, but she shows all of his swag for the weekend, whatever. It's fun. It's the side of golf I like to see. My pick to win is a bit more chalky, but I do like Colin Morikawa to win. I just think he's due. He's another guy that always rates out on this course, and it feels like his year to pull a major. So I'm gonna take my shots on him at the first major this year. He's plus 1,800 to win. I'll take those odds. Those are good enough for me. So Colin Morikawa is my pick. We are out of time. I wanted to get
a winner. What a dick.
What? Wait, I thought you said your winner. I'm sorry, Keith. Tell us your winner.
Ford.
You know what? Okay. You know what it was. You stepped on Ryan's winner and interrupted him, so I thought you picked. So you know what? Go ahead.
Oh, I like to step on Ryan all the time.
That's mean.
Well, I'm just mean from talking over you. I can't.
Yeah. It's hard to interrupt you on my show. That's why you have 40 minutes and not just 20.
Hey, you asked for it.
That's true. I did. All's fair.
I do love Scheffler at 4-1, but everybody's going to be talking about that.
Yep.
Russell Bussell Henley 55-1. Again, another guy with amazing track record at this course, playing the best golf of his life. He's already won an event on an extremely difficult golf course, beating one of the best golfers in the world in doing so. He's finished 31st or better 6 out of 7 of his last Masters. Just finished T4 2 years ago. Other majors, I don't think people know this. He's finished 7th or better 3 out of his last 8 starts in majors. So he's somebody who's consistently having. And then again, where I was talking about how ridiculous, some of Straka's par 3 scoring, Henley 6, par 4 second, par 5 31st, 6th in proximity, 16th in bogey avoidance, top 20 in strokes gained tee to green, strokes gained around the green, strokes gained putting, and he's just outside of the top 20 in strokes gained approach at 22nd. I really do think Russell Henley has a legit chance to win this tournament. And if he wins one major, this to me would make so much sense if it's this one. Why not this year when he's playing arguably the best golf of his life?
I do love the Henley play. He's got a popular play for me in DFS this week. Unfortunately, he is for everybody else at this price at 17.5 ownership. But he does feel like that guy this week, like you're saying, Keith, that feels like he's worth the chalk. As long as you're finding guys who are values at other spots in your lineup. So I'm there for it. We're here for you. I also wanted us to get to our long shot to win, but we ran out of time. But if you check out over on Fantasy Six Pack. B and Bud are going to be joining Keith and Ryan over there as well right now, right after this show. Get over there. Maybe we'll talk about that there, but we're going to talk about a lot of other stuff. We are Divots and Pivots. This is That Sports Podcast Network, and this is also Golfer Gang Network. We love you guys. Stay classy and enjoy the Masters this week. Enjoy, everyone.